Hey now, say now. What's up, solar system? It's your girl, Righteous Soul, and today I'm actually going to be discussing some of the top things that I wish I knew about YouTube before I began. I started watching some of the, top people in the field now, Kelly Stamps, Nick Nims, and a lot of those people. And of course, I started watching the YouTube couples and a lot of the YouTubers who are on this wave now, and they're all doing excellent jobs, which I commend. First off, I definitely want to say salute to y'all who have made it. There are some of us though who are just beginning, and some of us who are on the rise. So for those people and for those to come after us, I just jotted down some things that I feel like all of us needed to know, and not just how to get your first 100 subscribers or how to get your first 1,000 subscribers or pay attention to the analytics. Mine is more on um, the things that are not common sense, but some things that you just want to know. All right, let's take a stab at it. We're gonna go with what's number one on my list, and I have a handy dandy trusty computer here with my notes on it. So here we go. The first thing I got on my list is you may be your only supporter when you start. That's the reality. That's not anything that I'm making up. That is actual. You may have one or two friends or a couple of friends, depending on how many people you know. I know a good amount of people, but the amount of people I know versus the amount of people that support or share or like or comment are two different things completely. So I have some people who who will give me a shout out every blue moon, or some people who are commenting and they make my top comments every time I post, which means they just basically are commenting first on my subscribers. On my post, which is good. You even if a few people at a time are supporting you, that is a little support, and that will go a long way eventually. So don't expect the people that support you in the beginning to be people you know. I look at the analytics on my YouTube page, and honestly, I don't have as many subscribers or people I know supporting me as I do people that are not subscribed to my page. So most of my views, actually about 75% of my viewers, are not subscribers, and only about 3 or 4 of my subscribers are even watching on a consistent basis according to the analytics. So with that being the case, you have to be okay with being your only support at the moment until more support comes. And you can't be bitter about it. You can't be a Debbie Downer. You just have to figure out what content to make as a creator and keep doing that thing, and then we'll hit eventually. And even if you don't hit eventually, you just keep improving, so that the algorithm gods can play in your favor. So, and you'll hear that word a lot. When I first started YouTube, I heard algorithm a lot, and it does make a difference. It's all about the numbers. It's all about what content you're creating and the thumbnails and all that juicy stuff. But today I'm basically going to talk about some more simple things to keep in mind. And so just remember that you're going to succeed based on the number of people you don't know, not the ones you do. Then those people you do know will hop on board and try to support or aim to support, or say, hey, I knew you could do it, but those were the people you needed to help you do it. But eventually they jump on the wagon, so no worries about it. And that's just going to be something you kind of have to deal with later on down the road. Like, how do you treat those people who waited until you succeeded to help you out? But I'm just a different breed. I'm just gonna keep praying, keep putting in the work, because prayer and faith without works is dead. So it's just about that. And plus, I love what I'm doing. Like, I love being a creator, and I love creating. So that's, the numbers aren't going to stop me. I'm going to keep doing this for an eternity. All right, next up, the number one advice that I got when I started YouTube, that I kind of knew this one beforehand a little bit, but it's what prompted me to begin, and that is, don't wait until you're ready to start. A lot of times we see, oh man, those people got good cameras, good lighting, oh man, they changed their scenery up a lot. And myself, having been injured, I wasn't able, when I first began this, to change my scenery as much as I wanted to, because I was stationary and I had to be for the healing of my ankle. You know, you can't just be going everywhere with a broken ankle. So you just keep in mind that when you start, you may not be at 100. And you know, as quiet as it's kept, if we're honest with ourselves, we're not waiting until you're at 100 to begin. Waiting until you got it all together to begin may seem like good prep work and good thing, you know, that you put in time and work to put out something with quality, you know, over how many or how much you put out. And that may be true, but just keep in mind that waiting and waiting and waiting means someone else is starting and starting and starting, and you're being pushed further behind, and you could be succeeding and making mistakes and correcting them along the way. You know, it isn't such a bad idea. You know, sometimes we are going to run into some issues, but like even before I began, I started watching a whole lot of YouTube information. Like I started overloading myself with information, and yeah, it becomes overwhelming. But one of the best pieces of advice that I received was, don't wait until you're ready to start. All right, so get out there and get started, and just have some faith in yourself. I actually love doing this. Like, I have a passion for it, so it isn't hard for me to think, create, you know, get started. And you know, sometimes I may have a guest on the show, or of a segment or something that I want to be a part of it. But even if you have guests who may not you know, who may flake out, or you something happens and you can't get to some of the stuff you need to that day, I'm one of those go-getters. Like, I just kind of try to keep the ball rolling as much as possible. Even with those unexpected things happening, I try to keep in mind that the show must go on, and that's kind of the attitude that I approach it with. And so just keep that in mind. And I'm also one of those I was kind of nervous when I started, but you know, the only way to get unnervous is to start, because that's the only way to practice and to get you know, everything that you need going. I'm one of those also who I don't believe that practice makes perfect. I don't believe that. I believe practice makes worth it. You know, practice means you get all the exercise you need toward whatever it is that you're doing, and you're putting in more and more time doing that. You become more and more comfortable with the camera. You also become more and more comfortable with speaking in front of the camera, which is a whole nother segment, public speaking, and being okay with what you're putting out for people. All right, so you know, don't wait. Go ahead and get started. As soon as this video ends, go ahead and start your YouTube channel if that's what you're trying to do, and just keep going. All right, number three on my list is, you have to treat 5 subscribers like they are 5,000 or 500,000 subscribers, right? And this is why. Those 5 subscribers have the ability and the power to share. If they are really supporters, they will share, they will like, they will comment, and they will refer you to other people through word of mouth. You know, the 5 is a mighty number. When you get to the 5,000 and 500,000 marks, that's less manageable, meaning you have no control over. You really don't have control over the 5, but the 5 makes things worth it, because those are 5 people that believed in you enough to subscribe to your page. And if they turned on the notification post and subscribe to your pages, those people are very serious about you. You know, so what content are you going to give them? And are you going to treat it like, well, it's just 5 people, so I'm not going to upload today? That's not fair. That's not fair to the 5, you know. But when you treat 5 like they're 5,000 or 500,000, that's quality you're putting in. That's passion. That's intent. That's how serious you'll be about them. And when people see that you care, they start going the extra mile for you. All right. So that's something to keep in mind. So that when those 5 turn into 5,000 and 500,000, they're going to speak well of you. They're going to be liking. They're going to be commenting, because they were the ones doing it from day one. So believe in them enough to give them quality. Don't say, oh, it's just 5 subscribers, I'll get to them next week, or I'll get to them next month. You know, even, you know, because one, the reality of it is you may not get to them in a week, you may not get to them in a month, you may not live to see a week or a day. You know, you never know. So you have to treat this day like it is your last day every time, and those five subscribers deserve your best every time. And you know, hey, we fumble here and there, but you should still give them quality work, you know, and you'll get the 5,000 or the 500,000 eventually, you know, but keep working at it. So use what you have. So when I started, I did go out of my way to go buy a GoPro camera. I'm not using it now. I'm actually using my cell phone. But I also went and bought a ring light. But the ring light I had way before I started even considering YouTube, because I was going to be doing some of my poetry in my room. I bought a black backdrop, you know, that's sitting in the hallway because my surgery stuff kind of took up my room. But honestly, use what you have. If you have a cell phone with a good quality images, video, use that for now until you can save up, until you can get you a camera. Or if you have a friend that has a camera, you know, play the friend card on that. Hey, may I use your camera? I'm trying to, you know, do something productive or something that I have a passion for. And if you have a really good friend, they're going to respect that and try to assist if they can. You know, every friend won't be able to assist, but some will definitely go out of their way if they know you're serious about something and you're starting something new, you know. So that's that. And lighting isn't, and I don't know, I don't have the best lighting now because my ring light actually went out last week, so I have to buy another one. But sometimes recording in the daytime or taking your work or your segment on the outside gives you more light. You know, the light that comes in through the window is good for your camera, catching the right angles or whatever. And then also taking, if you don't have good lighting in your room or wherever you are, that's one thing to invest in eventually, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have it right now. All right, so just keep that in mind. Use what you have, and then you'll get to where you want to be eventually, enough where you can buy those things for yourself. But right now, that's not the number one priority. Content and creating is your number one priority when you start. And then good audio, and when you start investing, making sure audio is good. I'm talking at a level that isn't loud per se, but it should be projecting, so you should be able to hear me. I don't have a microphone set in front of the camera phone area like some people do, or the camera area if you have a camera that you're using, but you should still be able to pick up on my sound. So being audible and being able to be clear when you're speaking is very important. So you want them to be able to hear what you're saying, and maybe they'll forgive that, hey, the lighting wasn't perfect, or I wish she had been outside instead of inside. My niece my niece, I was laughing at her yesterday because she told me, she was like, maybe you should do something other than in your bed. And when you have an injury, there is only so much you can do as far as standing up. You know, my feet will swell or something like that until I'm actually healed 100%. So I was trying to explain that to her. So maybe the next time I might move it to the kitchen or the living room or somewhere for her comfort. All right, so next, be yourself. Every other YouTuber is taken. Be yourself. You know, I called myself in the beginning of this, and that was literally over a month ago, just a month ago of starting this thing. But I used to say, oh, when I start this, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do this differently than they did it, put a twist on it. Simply because I may have liked the content that they were doing, but I am not them. There are some things that you will not need to do or be able to do because it's not you, it's someone else. And so borrowing from someone else to hype yourself is not a good thing if that's not you, because you want to be comfortable doing everything that you're going to do. One of my most uncomfortable segments that I recorded, and it wasn't that I was uncomfortable, it's something about, it's the smash or pass challenge. It's something about just felt like a little bit degrading, you know. So I was just like, is this really me, you know? So it's one of those things just to kind of look out for, because I don't want people to think that that's just the tip that I'm on. No, I was completing a challenge, and it was nice to be able to do that with a friend. So that's kind of what I did. But honestly, it was one of those things where, you know, if I have to remove one of my videos, that would be the one. But it's only because I love women. I love speaking positivity to them. I love embracing them and making them feel whole to the best of my ability. I love that, and the person that I've grown to be cherishes that part about me because I know it's rare. So that was the only thing. So remember, every other YouTuber is taking, even if you jotting notes and taking notes from these people, sure, keep doing that because that will help you in the long run. A lot of them learn the hard way and they're just trying to teach us. But as far as them vlogging and doing little challenges, trivia, those are all good to jump in on because there's no one set person that can be able to do a challenge or a trivia. You know, people jump on trends all the time. So that's not the issue. So just remember just to be yourself and put yourself in what you're doing. All right, next. Give yourself time to grow your subscribers. That kind of goes back with number one, but you want to give yourself time to grow your subscribers and not over analyze the analytics, because you'll get the analytics once your page is up and going. You'll be able to see, oh, how this video fared over that video, and those are things you do want to look at, like what time of day did I post this video, or what country, or what's my demographic, who's most likely watching this particular segment, because those things are things to consider for when you're improving your uploads. And each time I've tried to improve my upload, like there was a time where my camera slid when I was doing the Never Have I Ever challenge. I hated that because we had some good footage there as far as content, but the camera slid down. So there was one thing that I remembered in the back of my brain: next time there are no slide downs. Next time you put it on there so it doesn't slide down, and you prevent that. Like there were a time or two where my battery was low, so now I set it up where, hey, I'm going to charge the battery while I'm recording, or I'm going to make sure that it's at 100% when I start, and make sure to keep track of my timing so that I don't over exhaust my camera, because the GoPro that I have, it actually heats up, and I don't want it to start messing with the content of my footage or the quality of my footage. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind. Give yourself time to grow. Every day you're going to want to look at the numbers. I was like that. I think everyone is like that. You're going to want to look at your numbers and see, hey, did I improve? Hey, did I not improve? Or, man, well, YouTube just took away some views. What are they doing? And all of that is to make sure that your site is authentic, and to make sure that your channel is where it needs to be. But also the analytics is there for you to review and improve, not to obsess over, because 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers really take time. You don't want to cheat the system. You don't want to try to do it on your own way. And I've done it. I've tried to figure out a way, how can I get more views, or how can I make get subscribers more interested, because I should have more than 3 or 4 of my subscribers chiming in. But the reality of it is they'll get ready when they're ready. You can ask them all day, like I ask on social media. People are probably tired of me over promoting, but to me, it's, if I don't promote me, who will? You would like to know that and I know for a fact I got at least one friend who will promote me. But and I have maybe a couple of family members who say, hey, I checked out your channel type thing, but I need longevity, and I need people going hard for me when I'm not going hard for me. But when they're not going hard for me, I have to be okay with going hard for me, because that's the reality is you got you at the end of the night. So when you look in the mirror, when you're obsessing over the numbers, you want to be in a place where you're not obsessing over the numbers. Like, why are you here? Why are you in it? But that was something that I did. I got obsessed about the numbers. I looked every day. I have the YT tracker app on my phone, and you might want to include that in one of your resources. The YT tracker app on my iPhone, actually, it helps you keep track of it in your hand. You don't have to carry your laptop around. But just remember, the numbers won't lie. But in a way, when YouTube removes your numbers, you're like, okay, well, what did I really do that day? Because you're playing around with my numbers. What are you doing? So just keep in mind that the subscribers will come. You have to keep doing your job as a creator and create your list of 50 things is what they say. They suggest between 35 and 50 videos, ideas already on your memo, already in your notes, ready to go. And those are the things that you focus on. Like, okay, I got one video down, let me do another one. and another one, DJ Khaled, and another one. That's kind of what you do. You're just checking off your list, and starting a list 35 to 50 is a good number to start, and then keep adding to that list, and there'll be some things on there that you could put a twist on, you could put a spin on, you know, something that maybe you created for women. Maybe you can create a list now for men, you know. So it's that simple. But don't obsess over the numbers, I beg of you. And I'm telling you this because I know you're going to obsess, but I'm just telling you in advance, that's normal, because we all have done it. All right, what's next on our list? Next on our list is make social media your friend. People who are on IG Instagram may not necessarily be on Twitter. People who are on Twitter may not necessarily be on IG. People who are on Facebook may not be on either of the other two social networks. So it is your job to let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing. And a lot of times, because I've already had a poetry platform where I do events and I perform and I compete in slams and battles, so I have an audience that, you know, was there before I started YouTube. Let's see how I can tap into them. Now, I'm only at like 138 subscribers, so I'm no expert to be telling you what to do and don't do, but I am in the field of letting people know, hey, these things are normal when you first start. These are some things I wish I had known. So I wish someone had told me. But in the thumbnail thing was one of the top things that I did try to improve immediately when I realized the importance of it. And then, you know, every blue moon I may go without one. If I record on my phone and I do the, I may decide to skip it. But it's one of the things that's very important. But you learn, you know, it's a learning curve. You learn along the way what to do, what not to do, or when something works better, you know, plug that in instead, you know, and that's it. You know, there's so many more things, and there'll be a second part to this video because there were plenty of things that I wish I had known that I did not know, or that maybe someone hinted on, but I didn't take it serious, like obsessing over the numbers. Not worth it. So remember that. Make social media your friend. It's your job to promote, and hopefully you have the kind of friends that won't keep scrolling when they see, oh, you ask for them to share, you know, your YouTube channel information with their page. Now I get it if their page conflicts with what they actually do. I had a friend, you know, say, well, I only put hair on my page, you know. So it's one of those things where, like, if it conflicts with what they actually do, then you can't take it personal. At first I wanted to take it personal, like, what? Like, I'm your friend, you know, you're supposed to be able to support me like I would support you, and that doesn't always work that way. So you got to make sure that you are okay with people scrolling by, people opting out of sharing it on their page, or people not commenting, not liking, because honestly, like I said in the very first bit of advice, your top subscribers won't be people you know. As sad as that sounds, I'm going to tell you, they won't be people you know, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes in order to grow, you do need outside people. That's the only way people not knowing you can get to know you or decide if they want to support you or not. All right, those are some of my top things that I wish I had known before starting YouTube. And you guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. After subscribing, make sure you touch that notification bell, because that's important. That's how you know that I'm going to upload again and when I upload again. All right, remember, I know it's my world, you know it's my world, but it's not my world without you in it. All right, remember, hey now, say now. Till next time, and we're out.